Alright everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we have our first playoffs match of the Great Lakes Giraffe League. We finished 7-3 for the regular season, which put us in third place. So we're up against the Lake Erie Wishiwashis, coached by Hungry Hippo, who we have played in the regular season. We won that match 2-1 in what I would admit is one of my favourite sets of the of this series, of this season. So this should be a really good set. Also trying something new. We are doing post commentary. I will link the video of the official Great Lakes Draft League commentary in the description below, and you guys can watch that perspective on an alternate commentator's perspective on our set. But anyway, first things first, team time. We're going to bring Dragapult, Terrakion, Gardevoir, Walrein, Runamo, and Tangela. This team, I feel like dealt with a lot of what Lake Wishiwashis had on their team. The sleeper pick is really Walrein. Walrein actually has pretty good matchup into their team. I mean, their only option is Trevenant and a physical Thunderous, and special Thunderous doesn't actually hit Walrein very hard next to its insane bulk and assault vest. Drakion is Scarfed, is a call because last time we played they brought Scarfed like Dragon, and as such we want to try and outpace that Dragon in case they bring Scarf again. Dragapult's just Dragapult. Put some coaching boost on it, it's gonna annihilate things. Gardevoir, Trick Room Prison, that's because they brought Trick Room Glade last time we played. And Runamo is really there to deal with their Blastoise. Don't talk about Tangela because Tangela is Tangela. It's gonna redirect, it's gonna die, it's gonna do one job, and the one job is to redirect and maybe put a sleep powder on something. Anyway, let's get straight into the battle. So, Cold-Wars, this is a post-commentary set, so I will roughly try to go through my thoughts on every single turn. So let's do it. So, the Wishiwashis finished 6-4 for the regular season, finishing 6th place. But that is a complete misrepresentation of how good they were. They were a top 2 contender for most of the season, and probably could have got that top 2 position and got a first week bye. So it's certainly not an easy week for me this week. So there is that. Even though I finished 3rd, we were contending for top 2 and top 4 for really the entire season. They just had some very unlucky games go their way, and dropped a couple of games and scraped into 6. So Down Under was actually meant to be me and Flamingo's exhibition team. That was meant to be. And I just went, fuck it, I'm going to put that team in. But that's not the team I was going to use against Flamingo anyway. So anyway, on the match, they brought Arcanine, Weezing, Blastoise, Vanillux, Thunderous, and Archeops. So they didn't bring the Hydreigon, and they didn't bring the Glade from the last set we played. I expected the Weezing to come, and naturally I assumed if Weezing comes, Archeops would come, if that was going to be the case, but I always kind of thought that they probably wouldn't bring the Arcanine. So I thought, Hydreigon is too good not to come, but I am surprised. So anyway, Terrapult deals with a lot of what their team wants to do. Probably start from Blitz Spam, which Terrak would probably be decent alright. Hello Walrein. I think I wanted to double check if I had the moveset I wanted on it. Anyway, we're bring Walrein and we bring Rotom to round out the 4-4 game 1. No, that's a bit quiet, so I'll turn it up just a little bit. About 50's all good. So they lead Arcanine and Blastoise. This is a lead that I don't really like because Blastoise kinda pressures Terrakion and Dragapult. So I look at going for offensive with Dragapult. Then I look at also the Walrein switching to cover for Max Hailstorm into the Dragapult. And I end up going for the Walrein switching. And I just say, well, if they're maxing the Blastoise, I can get one coaching boost at least off. And get Walrein to +1/+1. Which at that, you can actually live one attack from both Archeops and Thundurus. In comes our beautiful Walrus. And I switch out Blastoise. I was confused why they would do that, but they did say it was a misclick, so that would explain it. So they bring in Weezing, and they go for a Protect on Arcanine. So basically, I get a free coaching off on my Walrus. Meaning, okay, yeah, sweet. So I'm like, oh yeah. Means one way even more powerful. So I'm really worried about Will-O-Wisp coming out from Arcanine, and I don't know the spin mechanic between Walrein and Weezing. So I decide to click the big red button, then I choose not to click the big red button, and instead, in my fear of potentially being Will-O-Wisped, I click Facade. And I go for another coaching, because I'm choice locked. So, no max coming from either end. We get to +2/+2 Walrein. Heatwave comes out from Arcanine. Puts a burn on Terrakion, doesn't matter, considering all I'm doing is Scarfing. Or coaching with Scarf. And they double my Walrein. Bit concerned on why they would double Walrein with 2 fire moves. But the Assault Vest really stopping us from taking too much. So I'm continuously hitting that regret button with Walrein, and I'm like, I still want to make sure they don't have Will-O-Wisp on any of their Pokemon. Because I don't want to max Walrein, get Wisped, and it's useless. Anyway, we just go for Liquidation and Coaching. Liquidation to Arcanine and a Coaching boost. I do look at the switch, but I'm like, probably not worth it. Probably not worth saving Drakion. Coaching comes out. Moves Walrein to +3/+3. Another Heatwave comes out. And such, Liquidation comes out, appears for clean KO on Arcanine. I'd be really concerned with Walrein if it didn't get that at +3. And a Flamethrower comes out. I did look at Thick Fat Walrein going into this week, but I didn't do it because I felt Arcanine was just too much of a threat. So they bring back the turtle, and I go, I'm going to max. Walrein should be strong enough to take this Weezing out at +4. And I'll be happy to trade away my Terrakion because it means I can get Rotom in. which Rotom can actually put some big damage to that Blastoise. So Walrein moves to +4 attack and +4 defense. It is a bulky boy that can hit hard. Yeah, no, it's not belly drum Walrein, but it's still +4. That's 2 weakness policies. It's not gonna be nice. So they max the Blastoise, because I don't think it's gonna be wheezing. Out comes the turtle. And we go big with our Walrus. My max guys are into the wheezing and a coaching. This is where I actually feel like if I ran Stomping Tantrum and Ironhead this week, Walrein actually would have just been an insanely difficult Pokemon for them to deal with. And we'll get into that interaction in Game 2. And you'll also find out what I mean by having a ground move. Because it gets Stomping Tantrums, so... So Max Geyser comes out from Walrein, but Wheezing, at that health, lives the attack. So having a ground move there, I think probably would have got the Wheezing. So... and actually bulked me up a little bit for that Blastoise. So I bring in Rotom, because Rotom's always the Pokemon you bring in here. In comes Rotom. And I consider Max Striking to make Blastoise slower. Then I go, no, I can Max Darkness, kill this Wheezing, protect with Rotom, because I didn't know how much a Ice Max Hailstorm would do. So I'm like, okay, I'll scout it out, go for a Max Darkness, drop it to -1 special defense, so Leaf Storm does a shit ton of damage, pretty much. So Max Darkness comes out from Walrein. But even if I had Max Ground, I think I just kill that Wheezing right then and there, and it's a 2v3. That's exactly in their favour. And doing that actually revealed a very important item, White Herb. So that led me to believe this is Shell Smash Blastoise right off the bat. So I'm like, oh god, so I've got to deal with this now. But it's good to know in Game 1. Next up is the Archeops. I consider going for Max Geyser. Then I think this thing might be sashed. I'm like, is it like... I don't know why I was thinking it was sashed. So I Hailstorm it. And I go for a fat Leaf Storm Uji Blastoise, because that's the most ideal play with Rotom. So, Leaf Storm comes out. And Archeops goes for a Tailwind. Not exactly something you want to not see. And a Hailstorm comes out from Rotom, and Rotom loses 8 HP. So, Rotom, thank you, Rotom. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being an absolute Chad and tanking that. Leaf Storm comes out. Chunks Blastoise for about, 60%. And Walrein comes out with a Hailstorm, and surprise, surprise, it's a sashed Archeops. So my hailstorm play was actually pretty good because it kept the hail up, which meant the Archeops was dead, which is super super nice for me. And it's Blastoise versus Dragapult, Rotom, and a very very bulky Walrein. So here I just go for Crunch into the Blastoise, and I protect with Rotom. I don't know why, because differential doesn't really matter in playoffs, but I just go for it. Trying to see if I can scout out something, and it reveals it's physical. So Walrein just walls this thing out, and the Crunch seals up the victory there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Walrein got every kill in game 1. So Walrein kind of slaps if you position it right, and he shows one thing here. You don't need to run Belly Drum Walrein to do well with it. I spammed Kochi next to it, and it just went ballistic. Mind you, he got me to plus. He let me get to +4 attack. So wasn't exactly gonna be a fun experience for him. Anyway, on to game 2. We learned some valuable information. We learned Sashed Archeops. We learned that the Arcanine is pretty bulky, and we learned Blastoise is a Shell Smash variant. So on the side, Walrein did really well into their team. I'm like, let's just bleed the Walrus. Let's just cut that turn 1 out of the equation. I said, if they adjust, we'll just adjust in game 3. We got that one game on them. Dropping game's alright, because we might get some valuable intel. And so I do it. Walrein and Tracheon. Because even then, it does super well into like 90% of their team. And Dragapult in the back, because Dragapult is really good. I won't say broken, but pretty good. And bring Rotom. So we bring the same form, we just bring Dragapult and Walrein in the same positions. Anyway, game 2 is now underway. And this lead, for me, was actually a pretty good lead for them if they had done something different. They lead Vanillux Thundurus, and I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking Ice Shard weakness policy. I'm gonna get slapped by a offensive Thundurus. But then there's no hail, so I'm like, why is there no hail? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe they just got a different item on it, or a different ability, but I'm thinking just no real other ability that Vanillux would want to run. So I'm in a difficult position because I don't know whether to just max Walrein and back Walrein to take something at +1 defense. Because I know Oko Thundurus, pretty bulky Thundurus is at +1. So they max, and I think, okay, they're maxing the Fundy. This is our Shard weakness policy stuff, and it's weakness, and it's a big ice cream cone. I'm like, why are they maxing an ice cream cone? Like, Vanillux just gets hard-walled by Walrein. Then remember, I don't have Steel Spike on this Walrus. So I'm like, okay. This might be something threatening. Why would he max Vanillux here in front of a Walrein which walls it out? So we get a coaching off. I'm just happy not to see that Thundurus max or and Ice Shard go off. Then Smart Strike into Vanillux. And then Weak Armor procs means he gets it's faster. And a weakness policy, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy has baited me into thinking this is Ice Shard. and has tried to get me with the weakness policy ice cream cone. I gotta say, that is some really good tech. Like, I really, like, this is why I really wished I had Steel Spike on this Walrus, because, well, Walrein. Because Walrein here just would actually wall this Vanillux out really well. So Walrein picks up its 5th KO for the match, just killing that Thunderous in one shot. But if I had Steel Spike there, I may have just Steel Spiked into Vanillux, but the play there was always the Hailstorm the Thunderous. And I'm like, right, this Ice Cream Cone hits everything on my team for super effective. What am I gonna do about it? So they bring in Blastoise, and now I know Rotom is the key. Because if I can get it to a Rotom versus Blastoise, Rotom can handle it. And I need Walrein to do what it does best. So I go for the Max Strike, trying to slow this Blastoise down, knowing that this Vanillux is at -2 defense. A super effective Steel move will do a lot of damage to it. And we go for Protect on Dragapult, basically to protect it from a move going to Dragapult. And I go for a Steel Spike into my Walrein, which does a lot of damage. I made the correct play there, going for Protect, and trying to slow this, Vanillux down, because even then I would have just traded Dragapult for Max Vanillux. Maybe that was the play, trading, Dragapult for Max Vanillux, but that Max Hailstorm threat was too much to... So we drop, the speed of Vanillux down by 1, so it's at +1 Vanillux, and I'm like, do I outspeed here? Do I outspeed? So, it's interesting, because I don't know if I outspeed at this point. So, I go for Max Geyser to I double the Vanillux. Yeah, no, I go for Phantom Force. Yeah, Phantom Force. I probably could have to avoid the Blastoise. So maybe going for another Max Strike might have been a pretty good play into the Blastoise, trying to slow it down further. But they start stacking with Defense Boost. And Dragapult just goes, see you later, I'm out of here. And for the second time, Blastoise doesn't connect. Get a Geyser up. And it does not a lot of damage. So I'm like, this is a bulky Ice Cream Cone. And it gets a weak armor, so now it's back down to -1 defense, because I thought weak armor drops it by -2. My mistake. So Dynamax is over now. And it's Blastoise, Vanillux versus Walrein, Dragapult, and Rotom. I'll go for Liquidation there into the Vanillux. They go for a Flash Cannon into my Walrein. And Dragapult just falls short of the KO on Vanillux. And Walrein will pick up number 6. Yes, Walrein grabbed 6 KOs. So they still smash for Blastoise. Not ideal, considering now they outspeed my Dragapult. At this point. And Walrein picks up at 6. So yeah, you can kind of see where this is going to go now. They've made Vanillux the main threat, so I've had to get rid of it. Now they bring in their Blastoise, she'll smash it up. And now they bring in their Weezing. So I'm in pretty much a very difficult position. So because I know Dragapult will die to anything Blastoise throws out, and I know Walrein will die to anything Weezing throws out. I do try to get the Phantom Force off, but Blastoise +2, well, let's beat Dragapult, and pick up the clean KO because it's at +2. We fire off a Liquidation, +1 in the rain, does a lot of damage to Weezing, but Weezing's just so bulky, and Weezing picks up the KO on Walrein. And as such, we end up in an endgame where we don't want to be in. And Hippo's adjusted really well in game 2 to pick up that win. I didn't see Max Vanillux coming at all. And that was such a good tech, and it completely threw me off my plans. And then making sure Blastoise was faster than Dragapult by Shell Smashing on that last turn was actually really good. It's actually really good. He gets a bit of hacks there with Freeze. I'm like, oh god. I'm not even going to get a kill on the Blastoise here because I'm going to get frozen. And it just falls out. It was a 1-0. It was definitely not closer than that. And Sludge Bomb comes out and picks up the KO on Rotom. And the Leaky Wishiwashis bounce back in game 2 with a very, very big win, bringing us to a game 3 and making this final game do or die, and forcing the court in my hands to adjust. So with the prep going into game 3, they led Thundurus, Vanillux, and I thought, okay, they are totally going to probably go with what worked. It's like, why would they not go with anything else? Yes, I went Tangela, Terrakion, because if I can redirect the Smart Strike and get a close combat off into that Vanillux, I might be able to knock it out. Or live the Steel Spike due to weak armor, allowing it to move first. Or I might make them trade that Thundurus, well not Thundurus, Vanillux, by trying to go for a Smart Strike. We bring Rotom in the back, because that Blastoise is a threat, and here's why I think Steel Spike on Walrein would have been so great, because I would have comfortably led Walrein into game 3, knowing that I could just Steel Spike and get it out the way. So I lead Tangela Terrakion. There is a disconnect which we will speed past, but it does show the leads. So we'll talk about. So the leads will be discussed. So the lead Blastoise Arcanine, that game 1 lead, and I'm like, oh fuck. I have led so badly into this. And disconnect happens here, so we'll just fast forward a little bit. So we get solve it really quickly. Just say, since it was only just leads, just bring the same 4 and lead the same ones, and there we go. That's quick and easy solved. Right, so the question to me going into this is, how do I get out of this position? Tangela Terrakion is not a position I want to be in. Considering that Arcanine has just intimidated my Terrak, and Blastoise, either one's going to max, or is 2 going to go straight for a Shell Smash. So I make a very, very ballsy play, knowing I have Rage Powder to my disposal, they won't want to cannonade me until that Tangler is gone. So, I decide, let's just sleep powder the Blastoise, and just choice lock ourselves into Stomping Tantrum to try and chip this Arcanine away and hope Blastoise gets free turn sleep. Because hopefully by then we've got rid of the Arcanine, or Tangela has gone down the Heat Wave, and we can bring in our Rotom to handle it. Because I can't have Walrein, because I didn't bring Walrein. And I go, oh lord, that's like a free hit KO. So I'm like, please hit Tangela, please hit Tangela. Come on Tangela, land a sleep powder, land a sleep powder, land a sleep powder. You can do it. Do one job and it's all good. Just do the one thing you are meant to do. Do not miss, you aren't blind, just hit the turtle. That's my exact thoughts at this point in time. And Tangela puts that little turtle to sleep. So, Blastoise is out of commission for a little bit, for a couple of turns. Roughly. So I just go for a knockoff on Arcanine. I'm like, Tangela's not living anything. As is I'm choice locked into Tantrum, I just, well, click Stomping Tantrum. And basically say, okay, I'll bring in my Rotom on this next turn. And an important thing to know is, and again, I don't know the speed dynamic between Terrakion and Blastoise. And even then I wouldn't be able to put coaching onto my Rotom. So then Arcanine, I'm like, okay, Arcanine will go down next turn, and it's got Citrus Berry, and I'm like, oh my god. Are you kidding me? Citrus Berry? Really? Like, now this turned to another 2-hit KO. Anyway, Arcanine takes that Tangler, and I'm happy with that, because I can bring in my favourite lawnmower. Because I know, Rotom, kinda, probably not in the best position. Quite not in the best position, being pressured by Arcanine. I'm like, do they max their Arcanine here? So I go for max guard. And why am I clicking on close combat? Because I can only do one thing. I think I just go balls to the wall and I just actually click the max lightning. Because I think I can outspeed the Arcanine in 2 turns, and I think Rotom can take 2 hit max flares off Arcanine, because it's a very bulky version. I'm like, oh, that's Blastoise maxing. I'm like, they must be banking on Blastoise waking up here. Because, again, I don't know why they would max their Blastoise here, but I guess if it wakes up, it's a Master Stroke play. So we max our favourite little Warmower, which Rising Voltage is actually more powerful than Thunderbolt in max, so this will be doing a truckload of damage to Blastoise. Go for Stomping Tantrum. Means you pick up Arcanine next turn. And they snarl. And I'm like, oh no. Not snarl. But they bring Terrakion back to neutral. So I go out and I just hit that Blastoise with a big lightning bolt. And I think if I wasn't snarled, I would have done about 50% to the Blastoise. Which would have actually come in handy in a little bit, which we'll get to. So here I go, Blastoise has a big chance to wake up. Nope, I go for Max Lightning. I think I changed my mind. I think I do. I know I got Dragapult in the back, and I got a place for the Dragapult endgame. Yeah, okay, so I go Max Lightning into Blastoise, and I go for a Dragapult switch in. Oh, the read here is I reading the Max Cannonade into their Tracheon slot. So I bring in my Dragapult, they go for that Cannonade, and they hit the Dragapult's Tracheon slot. So I get the read, I save to Terrakion, and Dragapult gets in. Very damaged, but it gets in. And Rotom fires off another Max Lightning. If I wasn't snarled, I think I get that Blastoise. With that second Max Lightning. So now I'm in a position where if I can get... where I think Dragapult can kill this Blastoise. But I need to hope they Hailstorm. And so I go balls to the wall with another prediction, another heavy read. And I'm like, if this works, I may just steal this set. They go for Helping Hand. I go for the Guard. And they Hailstorm the Rotom. And I'm like, yes. Darts comes out. Gets with Arcanine. Easy. And the Blastoise, does it follow? It lives on like probably what 1 or 2 HP. See what I meant by that Snarl mattered? Because if that Snarl had not hit, Rotom's probably killed the Blastoise by now, or Dragapult, or it's dead because of Dragapult's darts. That moment there, I think was the moment that really broke the straw on the camel's back. Really, that was my last hurrah of trying to get back into this set. Bit of a spoiler what will happen through the rest of it. They bring in their Vanillux, because I know Dragapult doesn't outspeed Blastoise. But they've got 3 Pokemon, and I've only got a Scarf Terrakion in the back. And it's Rotom versus Dragapult. And I make another read. It's Rotom switches out Terrakion, reading the Ice Punch into Rotom, because I think they're not going to kill my Dragapult, because it goes down to Cannonade. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to click Darts, so I can lower this Vanillux defense. Reason being, I can bring in my Terrak, and I can hit it with a close combat, but I forget, because I know the Blastoise won't be around. So I get that read correctly, so I've made some really, really good reads, and I'm really, really happy with the leads I made. And Dragapult gets the kill it was meant to get last turn, and puts about 40% damage on Vanillux and activates Weak Armor. And Flash Cannon comes out, and that takes out Dragapult. So maybe they were reading for the Terrakion to switch in on my Dragapult, but I just give them the Dragapult. Maybe in also play there's probably protect on. Well, I couldn't protect Rotom, I think, because it was max guarded the last turn. So we bring in Rotom against Vanillux and their final Pokemon, which is their Galarian Weezing. And so this is an very interesting turn because the no Terrakion outspeeds their Weezing, and Vanillux can't really touch me. But the issue is they could just end it right here and then with a Flash Cannon, because Vanillux is, I would assume, faster than a Scarf Terrakion. But maybe because they think I'm Scarf, maybe they think I'm Max Speed Terrakion. So I think it explains their next action. But Rotom, I decide I'm going to go for a rising voltage, and it's at this point when I start to realise I may be at a bit of an opportunity where they might actually have got me. And I think the Wishiwashis potentially win the set. So they go for Protect on Vanillux, and I'm like, God damn it. Just been calcs, and I think Freezing lives, but I didn't factor in the electric terrain buff, so if I doubled that Wheezing, I probably win this, probably still have a big chance to win this set. So tracking goes down, and with that, my last chance of winning the set goes with it. Because now Vanillux just clicks its Ice move and just kills Rotom at this point. So that will be the end of our Great Lakes Draft League run. Unfortunately, out in first week of playoffs. We will try to have our first UGA match coming out this week. Since our first week got postponed. Anyway, with that KO, Hippo secures his place in week 2 of the playoffs, and will face Panda next week. GG's to Hippo, the coach of the Lake Erie Wishiwashis. Hopefully you can play super well next week against the Panda and his Pangorials. He has a really strong, solid rain composition. Not rain, sand composition, sorry. So it should be a good set. Anyway, that's the end of my Great Lakes Draft League. I would personally like to thank every single member of my team, which we will now go through. So, Dragapult, Terrakion, Gastrodon, Gardevoir, Rotom, Sizzle, Tangela, Magmortar, Sandaconda, Legenda, and Walrein. Some other Pokemon on the team that we had, but we do not have, was Gyarados, Rhydon, Rotom Wash as well. They were all these members put their best foot forward. Some standout performances from the season was Dragapult 21-15. I think he got a couple more KOs. Sizzle went insane a couple of weeks in the season. Magmortar, very impressive from its return, 15-10. So I'm really happy to drafted Magmortar. No, I think I might draft it again in the future draft league. Walrein obviously just popped off hard in game 1 and game 2, picking up 6 KOs to take it to 9 for the year from 5 appearances. So really happy with the team, and I'm really happy for this result from my first ever draft league. So anyway, we'll see you all next time, which will be hopefully my UGA set. Hopefully we can get week 2 out. Hopefully we don't get anything like week 1. Hopefully. Also, I will be linking the official Great Lakes Draft League commentary vid of this set in the description below as well, so make sure to go check that out as well if you want to see the battle, but commentated by someone who probably knows Pokemon better than me, even though I played the set. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.